You're
Hello.
Brian.
I am.
Hi, I'm Terry.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's time.
Yeah.
You know, people say I don't look old, but I'm almost 80.
Oh, wow.
And I've had so many years of doing this type of, hunting
Yeah.
and fishing, and I said, all my reloading stuff is back on because I can't keep my hands steady.
Right.
Got arthritis. Wear glasses to see everything on the mic, and when you're working with rifle shells and those things,
Right.
I try to explain to people, I'm dealing with tiny little bombs.
Yeah.
And if I screw up and it blows up in your face, guess what? My liability insurance company is not going to be real happy with me.
Right.
So I said, it's just time.
Yeah.
Go on back here. I move things back each night so I can put my vehicle away.
Oh, okay.
But here are the calls. I'll turn the bright light on. Show you what we have as far as calls. These were collectible knives, steins, hats, and this thing, but these are all the calls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these are the ones that were the Allegheny calls, Earl Mickel. Don't know whether you know him or not. Earl was a kind gentleman. He had a house, lived right up in the Poconos, okay? And he was the largest collector. It's written up in his book and everything. He was the largest collector in the world of individual turkey calls. People made them. His turkey call collection room was 20 by 40 feet long. And it was done in rows with 4-foot space in between them. He had over 10,000 calls in there. I didn't know the guy. This is going back into when I bought the company. I didn't know the guy. And I sold a couple of these calls to guys that collected turkey calls in the Turkey Federation. And he was big in it. And he saw one and he said, "Where did you get that?" He said, "God, my name is Terry Hyde." So he came down. He was putting this book together. Came down, took pictures. You can see he took the pictures of the different styles. This type of thing. Laid back. He wanted a full set. And the reason I'm bringing the story up for you is to give you an idea of value on these things. If you look down through here and you get down here to maple, only ever made 6 of them.
Right.
Okay, only ever made 6 sycamore. Well, I have one of every one of these downstairs on the shelf. Mahogany, only 4 of those in a collection. And he saw that. He said, "Can I buy one of those?" And I said, "That's the only one in existence."
Right.
And he offered me $2,000 for it, way back when, to get the whole collection, the whole set, which was, what you're looking at, what I have left and others. I said, "No, I'm going to hang on to that and give that to my son." He may keep them, use them, whatever. Then I had individual calls, other than the chestnut, that I took into the woods. And when I would call turkey in, got one off calling that, bring it home, clean it all up real nice, neat and pretty, and I'd stick it, back on the shelf. And that's how I got in it with the 6. I had them set aside, but I want to make sure I kill one of every one. And the only one I ever took out was the chestnut and this maple one, because I was afraid if I fall and break that, there aren't any left. I sold the individuals that were there. So I always hung on to those ones on that part. But those are the calls. This is the guys that wrote the book. I've had it open, shown it to so many people over the years that I've actually got it broken in the binder. But he came out with hardbound, a little bit bigger a little thicker, and there's more story and detail on it. But the amazing part about it is that he got together with me, we got together with his nephew and his wife, and went back through his records to see how many he had ever made. And of course, it tells you in here, he made 225 of the Allegheny calls. That's these.
Yeah.
Okay. He only made I'm going to say my mind, and I'm just giving a number. I'm going to say he probably made less than what he called the sunrise call. This is a little picture of this one up here. The best that we could find out with everything he had written in him, instructions how to use it and this type of thing, we figure he made 200. He made 100 with what he called a wide slate. And what he did is, you can see his work. Everything's dovetailed. I'll let you handle anything. But he cut that into a box and recessed that into the lid. Well, the wide one was easy. The narrow ones got very difficult. So he made the wide ones, and I can show you. I don't have a finished wide one left, but I can show you. These are the ones that last ones he worked on. These were it. He had not gotten an opportunity to actually finish them off. When I say finish them, this is how it works. This bottom part right here, see the little lip? You can bring that out. You bring those out. There's your striker.
Yeah.
Okay. Inside, on the striker, on a finished one, this one, and I've, a lot of people looked at this, on the, is the monogram. So we never finished these ones. And I thought, somebody may want to just have those to have those. And all he used is regular house chalk. I use carpenter's chalk on all my box calls, softer. But he said, no, you use regular chalk. He melted the trough so it's set right on it. You drop this down over the top of it, and there's your call. Very ingenious. So when this Mickel guy, Earl Mickel, I got to know Earl, when he, Salon, came in, offered to buy them, I knew he was dead serious. And he said, well, He picked that 4.5. He said, I'm on my way. When he stopped here, he was on his way to someplace in New York. He said, I'll stop on the way back. So he picked that 3 or 4 the models that he wanted to keep for himself for sure.
Right.
And when he came, he left these cards and said, if you ever decide to sell the chestnut or the maple to complete the set, let me know on that. So lo and behold, after I gave him all this, he sent me this book. Sent the book down to me. That's the picture of Earl. This is his house up in the Poconos. Big stone wall. Down there's the corner of his workshop. And there's a big lake behind it. I'm trying to remember what the name of that lake was up in there. He sent me this book and a nice little note on it. Sent it down to me. He said, hey, I want you to have the book for helping me out. And he said, go to page number. So I pulled the page number up real quick, and that's everything on Grazier. And he even stuck my name in there. I said, you shouldn't have done that. I had nothing to do with the call. Yeah, but you own the company now. People want to contact you. And, but yeah, he died in 1981. He was 79 years old. And when he passed on, he only had a nephew. His nephew was a janitor at Tyrone High School. Went to our church.
Oh.
Real good friend. Sang in a choir. And he came up to me one day and he says, hey guys, tell me you hunt turkey. And I said, yeah, I've been doing it since spring gobbler season came in Pennsylvania in 67. That's a long time ago. And he said, and this was in like, I'm going to say mid to late 80s when he sold it to me. In fact, I think Earl has it in here, the date, exact date. And let's see, where's that down here? 100, yeah, made 100 of the sunrise calls. I thought that was the number on that. Many calls on there. I know it was in there someplace recently that I bought the company from him because it's got a patent number and everything else on it, that type of thing. So he did this little book on it of everybody. I mean, you can't imagine. You think of the name and it's in there.
Right.
If you're a collector, you know about slate calls. D.D. Adams.
Yeah.
Okay, D.D. Adams has the very first page in there. He and D.D. were great friends. I have a D.D. Adams slate call downstairs that I've used their D.D. to kick it off. D.D. Adams. He said, I'm going to do it alphabetically because D.D. Adams can go up front. This type of thing. So that's kind of like, when I do anything like this, I like to have bona fides.
Right.
So that's the bona fide on all those. This is the ones that I really got lucky. I mean, lucky. A young fellow from the from the Turkey Federation. At one time, I was the executive vice president of it. Got hold of the chestnut, made him, called me on the phone, said, Terry, I'd like you to have a set of these. I said, a set of what? He said, we've made these turkey calls. They're out of a chestnut. We've got a certificate of verification of it. We want you to have number 4. And I said, number 4? He said, well, number 1 goes to National. Number 2 comes from Pennsylvania, goes to them. Number 3 is mine. You can have number 4. So he sent me these calls on that. He has it all signed and everything. He's got the authenticity and everything on it. And I thought, what a super collection. And I've never used them. I'll be honest, I've never used them in the woods. They're not my style. But I've never used them. But I thought, what good are they doing me on my shelf?
Right.
You know, you reach a point. And my wife keeps saying, are you going hunting today? Yes, I am. Do you have anybody going with you? I said, no, I don't. Do you have a cell phone? Yes. Do you have a beeper? Yes. Okay, you can go.
You're all clear.
Yeah, to make sure I'm doing things right and I'm going to come back home, I guess. You know, that or she always tells me, she said, because if you die in the woods before they bring you out with the flies on you, she said, I want to call the realtor and tell the house to move.
Right.
Little push button.
Huh.
Yeah. Unreal. But it's all American chestnut. Beautiful work on it. You can see the knotty holes and everything else on it. They got it out of Virginia. I think I was telling you on the phone, that's where they find a lot of standing chestnut. If you go down, I like to tell stories. If you go down I-81, on the right-hand side, if you go past the big signs that says Luray Caverns, you'll see these crossbuck fences. All those fences are made out of American chestnut.
Huh.
So he went back and talked to the guy that got them, and you know, where to come. Finally made a contact with a guy, but he lives in a place called Deerfield, Virginia. The town is, the name of the sign's on both sides. Enter an evening. That's how small it is. I mean, there might be 30 people live there.
Yeah.
And this guy's a sawyer, and when he found this big stand, he contacted these historical sites because some of these were falling apart.
Right.
He said, I'll make you a deal. I've got everything there. He said, I can rail split these like the old ones for you if you'll buy up when I'm going to cut down.
Right.
Hard as a brick. You know, the wood is just so dense and hard.
Yeah.
He said he couldn't tell me how many chain blades he burnt down, cutting them down, and then cutting out the planks to make turkey calls. He's the one that made the 2 gun cabinets. And the narrow slate, because it was harder to do, that's the one he put a higher value on those ones because of the rarity of them. But I knew he made like 50 of each of the Sunrise, and he made 50 of this, and then 50 of these real narrow ones with a real narrow slate on them. And when Earl looked at them, he kind of graded them on his own. You don't have me say whether he'll sometimes do a Mick minus, which means it's okay but not great.
Right.
Then I'll say a Mick, which is good call, and then he'll put a plus. He writes about it in his book. He said, when I put a plus, it's good for 2 reasons. Workmanship's impeccable. The rarity is unbelievable. And he usually says, when I say unbelievable, there may be less than 100 in the United States in existence. Well, he recorded all his stuff in a little ledger book. Made 100 total, and I've got 1, 2, the last 3, which were unfinished. I had 2 of these, and a young boy came in and bought one of them. He couldn't. He said, I can't pay 100, but I can pay 50. And I said, well, you can take one of these wide ones. You want a Sunrise, say you have one. Because he's from Tyrone and knew Mr. Grazier before he retired from the mill. So he bought one of those on that. So these ones, I didn't even open one of these up for you, did I?
No.
Tell you what, rather than flicking the half, I'm real careful.
The maple.
Because this is the maple one. This is the one that I have carried for demos at sportsman's clubs, this type of thing. Back in the old day, I was big with movie camera, and I had a 400-foot reel of Blair County only. Everything you could think of hunting. Deer, bear, turkey, everything on film. And I would take it to the seminar, and I showed it to these people. It took like 30 minutes to run through, and it was kind of like a lead-in to get it going. I said, I just want you guys to watch this. And I always say, where do you think that was taken from? Oh, that was over here and that was there. I said, every ounce of that film is documented in Blair County. I can take you to the places and show you the backgrounds. They got fascinated on it, and I said, you saw turkey at the beginning, spring, turkey in the fall. And I said, that's why I'm here. Then I would use this little call as a unique little call for someone to call with. You can see I still have it struck up, but the piece of chalk just lays in there. Drop it out, and it's just like the little Sunrise. Then you pull this out, it's marked up, and your striker, you can do it either way you like it. You can take it with the lid down this way, and you can strike it to you or from you. You know, you can go this way, or you can take it and go across, which makes this a baffle.
Oh yeah.
Makes the sound a little more dense. And it's like I said, my hands aren't what they used to be on it, and I don't have it chalked up. But here's the difference in the deepness of the tone. You can flip it back and forth. So once I practiced with these things, right after I got it in the 80s, I'd made up my mind, I'm going to shoot 1 turkey with each one I'm keeping. Somewhere I'm going to call 1 turkey in off of that. As soon as I'm done, I'm retiring the box. But this was my demo, so and it was maple, and I'm just as glad it doesn't have the hasp. The hasp is cool, and that's what he really liked about it. But all I ever did is I just had a big fat rubber band around it. Put it in your pocket, keeps it quiet. Then I had a little toe of a sock, a hunting sock. And I drop it in that hunting sock so I had some cushion in case I trip a lot.
Oh yeah.
And that type of thing. So that's the last one of those. But those days are done and gone. Oh, forgot to put my chalk. Just lay that piece of chalk in there on that. So Brian, there they are.
There they are.
Now, if you want, the one I didn't show you yet is this was a gift to me from Penn's Woods. Okay, the man that owned Penn's Woods and I became close friends. Before he passed on, he had different things, and he knew I was big into slate because he helped me get the D.D. Adams autographed slate call. This was the first slate call that Penn's Woods ever made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now it's all plastic, and what you have to do, and I don't have it with me or any of it with me, you have to take a piece of emery cloth across this little nub. You rub that emery cloth just to rough it up. That gives it that bounce. And then you do the same thing with your slate on the inside or your slate on the backside. And once again, higher pitch, deeper pitch. I can't make a note with it because I don't have them roughed up, and I'm not going to rough them because the collector doesn't want that. They want it pristine, but all you do is you strike it like any other slate. You pull your strike this way. That keeps it that deep, soft tone. Purring on this end when a turkey gets close, unreal. Just unreal. I only ever used it but one time. And this one on the outside is louder. Yelps, clucks, that type of thing. Reaches out more because you got it up on top. But that's the whole collection that I have left in my existence, other than, like I said, the 6. And I can take in my gun and show you the 6 setting there, but I have to carry a gun, and if you tell anybody, I have to shoot you. But neat little things. You can look them all up on the internet. You can look up that slate call on the internet from Penn's Woods, and
interesting.
Yeah, that was the first one ever made. Just something different and unique,
Yeah.
like a catch, because Penn's Woods basically went to Lynch and said, we'd like to make these calls. We'll do it all with you for you, but we want them all to be recognized by through you. This is how he got his start. Because the Lynch calls are the big calls.
Right.
B-hams and all those guys and the dates and everything on it. Heck, I went to an auction one time, they sold them for like $2,000 a piece. I about past that. I thought, I'm a collector, but I'm not that big a collector. You know, it's just one of those deals on it for it. But that's the whole kit and caboodle. 100 for each of those, and that one because it's finished. These unfinished ones I would do for 50. My old maple one, I wouldn't part with it for less than 200 because it's the last maple in existence. You can see there are only 6 of those ever made.
Right.
Those, 200 for that, 100, the whole kit and caboodle.
This is how much?
200 for the
200
the
for
double.
those doubles.
The whole kit and caboodle together comes to $1,250. If you would buy the whole kit and caboodle, and I don't ask the guy wealth, I told you it'd come down to $1,000 even.
$1,000.
If you wanted it all, other than the book.
Other than the book.
Other than the book, I want to keep the book because that's my Bible.
Right.
On that type of thing. So you'd end up with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You'd end up with 10 different collector calls. And then if you want to turn them around someday, because when I bought them, my wife said, "What do you do with those?" I said, "Well, I bought the company as an investment."
Right.
I said, "I'm hoping they're worth what Mr. Mickels says." Back in the right after
Get a picture
about
of
the
that
early
book.
90s. Yeah, you can take a picture. Anything you want to take a picture of. Yep, close as you need, as close as you want. Because that's what the one guy did. Said, "I want to come back and get a call." And he's the one who took that other little sunrise call. I don't have the money with me, and I said, "Well, come back and get it. I'll hold it for you before this." But I said, once the yard sale sells, first through the door is first come, first served. I have no qualms
Right.
on it.
Okay, so here's that. All right. Yeah, I'd like to see the other calls just to see them, but
That's a knife.
that's a knife.
That was a presentation knife that they made. I think Case only made like 200 or 300 or 400 of those in the special casing. They did like one every other year. And Case is up in I'm trying to think of the name of it. Heck, I got the book here. But anyhow, I was the manager of a publication called Outdoor Times, Outdoor Hunting and Fishing magazine, and I did that for like 20 years and retired out of it. But I made a deal with them. I said, we're going to make 500 knives that or hats that if anybody comes to the Harrisburg Sports Show and buys a subscription, we're going to give them a hat. And we're going to make a quality camo hat. I had a demo to take with me. I said, what would it cost us for you to make us 500 knives, but on the blade, see if I can get this open for you. They engraved the Outdoor Times on it. Now, we were just looking for like a little etching.
Right. And they went all out.
They went all out on it. So I got these together. The last 2 hats and the last 2 knives go with that. But this is what they engraved on the blade. You can see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I said, now, what are we going to owe you to do that? He said, how about a full-page ad in your magazine?
Okay.
And we said, okay, we did it. So when they came through, we sat down and we worked the pricing out on the knife. And, we give them the hat. They had to buy the knife. But we gave them the hat. And so we worked out a pricing deal on that. And, of course, me being an art collector all my years, I said, I'm going to buy 10 of them right now. I said, that gives us a start, plus which I can then take it to the publisher of the company and say, we're already making money. Even though it's mine, we're making money.
Right.
They don't care where the money comes from as long as it's in their
As
pocket.
long as it's making.
That type of thing. But then I have a few of those Steins left on it. If you'd like to see that collection of 6, you're more than welcome to take you down and show it to you. That's the 2 to 7 Redfield. First off, Redfield decided to shut the doors. Leupold took a look at them. So when they did, I bought a Leupold, put that away. I only used that 2 years, put that away, and put the Leupold on, figuring Leupold's not going to replace the parts. Here 3 years ago, I don't know if you watch TV or not, but a company called Academy Sports, okay, they bought the company. They're going to come back out with the Redfield name. They bought the name and everything, but they're going to come back out and it's going to be called Redfield something behind it. And they're going to start redoing these things with the new modern, scopes that you can caliper them in, all that kind of stuff and everything on it. But look through the reticle one time. It's a wide field, and when you look at it, instead of looking at a circle, you look at a big oval.
Yeah,
And I really liked it. I had it on my 284 to take west.
Kind of nice.
When they bought it, I called Leupold with the idea they're doing it. And they gave me a nice discount on buying it at the time because I had that one. They wouldn't take it as a trade, but he said, because you called us on this whole thing, we'll knock a little bit off of our Redfield 3-9 for you. So I went and moved up to the 3-9, and I just dropped. So when Leopold sent me the box, that's what it's in. It's in Leopold box.
Yeah, Leopold box.
Yeah, but yeah, just people say, "Hi," I said, if you live this long, and I started doing outdoor stuff before I graduated from college, so I've been at this for 60 years practically. I said, over the course of time, you can't imagine what you bump into, get, and think it's just for today's use. And 50 years later, people come up and say, wow, where'd you ever get one of those? It's like I had my dad's bamboo fly fishing rod made by Fenwick. And I thought, I don't fly fish. The poor little thing's a bamboo. What the heck, and that type of thing. And a guy from Tyrone who was a big fly fisherman, you may have read about him on the Juniata River. He come up one time talking to me because I did so much with the Turkey Federation to see if we would help them do what they called a cleanup on the Juniata River from Tyrone to Spruce Creek. Get the garbage and stuff out of it. The creek got cleaned up after the flood back in '72, and I said, shoot, yeah. So when he came up to the house, I invited him in. We were sitting downstairs, and I went out, and I had this old Scout back then. And we jumped in the Scout, and of course in the springtime when you're doing this stuff, all my fishing gear was in there. He said, what's in that big tube? And I said, it's a fly fishing rod. A Fenwick fly fishing rod, yeah. Can I see it? And I pulled it out, and he said, oh my Lord. I said, that's my dad's. And I've tried to learn how to fly fish, and I don't have time or patience for it. I think I'm just going to get rid of it. And he said, I'll find you a buyer, I'll buy from me. And the guy came, I don't even know where he came from, but he was a buddy of Bill's, came to the house, took a look at it with that, just took one quick look at it, like this, and he said, I'll give you $500 for it.
Wow.
That's when I started collecting. I said, what? He said, I'll give you $500. He said, you understand, they only made these like 2 years. And then they started going to all these special carbons and, all this extra special thing. He said, bamboo were the first fly fishing rods to ever be made popular for fishing, and they made them big and long because most of them were made for guys that salmon fished, and bamboo had that spring to it.
Yeah.
He looked at everything, the eyes, the furlets, the thing, and everything. He said, give you $500 for it. And back then, $500 to me was like, give me $10,000 today. I thought,
right.
$500 for a rod I was going to give away? You've got a deal. And so from that time on, when I got my hands on old things and read about them, I just started glomming onto stuff.
Right.
So it was time to go.
How much is the scope?
I have the scope for $75. When I bought it, and like I said, you can tell, the only markings on it is right there, and that was for the ring, the mounts. I used it 2 years. Leopold was going to buy the whole company. And I thought, well, Leopold's buying it. They're not going to make these anymore. They're going to get rid of Redfield. I'm going to make. So I called them on the phone about it, and they said, well, we're in negotiations. And I said, well, what? I said, would you take a trade? I've got a Redfield I'll send to you. He said, well, we can't take the trade. It's not our product name, and it doesn't fit our warranty. If you heard of Leopold, send it back, and I'll send you a new one if they can't fix it. I did that once. I fell down and broke one. I said, I broke it. Don't care. It doesn't say you can't trip, fall, or drop it.
Right.
They replaced it. So they said, well, what did you pay for that one? I said, I paid $150 for it. And they said, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll give you our new 3-9, which had the variable on it, but what I liked about it, there was a real fine crosshair, and the middle center was called a military dot. And I said, I like that dot. So they sold that for me, which at that time the game was like $250, and they said, we'll sell that to you for the same price you bought your Redfield for. I said, you got a deal. That was right before I went to work with the company, and they started advertising with us. And that little Redfield there, this one, I bought this one, the Simmons, strictly for my 22 Magnum, to go out and hunt close-up groundhogs. My brother-in-law hunt groundhogs a lot, and he has the 17. He can shoot 300 yards, tic-tac. I said, tell you what, I'll make a deal. Everything inside 100, I shoot. Everything outside, you shoot with the big one. We'd sit down together. So I thought, I need a better scope, so I bought this 4-power scope. And like maybe 3 weeks after that, this was Simmons, Bushnell came out with a 1.5 to 5 made for 22 Magnum, or 22 or 222, but a 1 to 5 power variable. And I thought, I got the $100, and so I just bought, and this has been in a box ever since. I've never had another gun. It's never been used. So I said, James Williams, I said, somebody wants that for $35, $40, I'll give it to them. I said, heck, it only cost me $50.
Right.
I bought the thing. But yeah, I got it home. And I usually do this stuff after seasons are over. So that's when the sales hit.
Yeah.
I learned over the years, you don't buy it before hunting season, you buy it after hunting season. So they had the Simmons scopes out there, and they were like $75. They had it down to $50, I remember, and I bought the thing. She said, what are you going to do with that? I said, I'm going to put on my 22 Magnum. I said, my eyes and iron sights aren't working as good as they used to. I said, this would be perfect for just hunting pigs inside 100 yards. I mean, like less than a month later, Bushnell comes out with one, only it's a variable from 1 to 5. So it's on my 22 Magnum, and that box has been sitting in my gun cabinet ever since I bought it, and that has to be 15 years ago.
No.
I said, I'm going to sell them. She said, if you want to sell them, sell them. You know, my garage signs to put out. Okay, if you want to get down and take a look at the
Yes.
that set.
Just a look at it.
I can show you that set.
Just to lay eyes on. I'm probably going to take the calls.
What does your sign say?
It's Cash Cow. Cash Cow Flipper.
Oh, okay.
I buy and sell stuff.
Yeah.
And I do a YouTube show.
Hey,
Different things I buy.
when we had our magazine, and I would go down to we did about 7 sports shows.
Uh-huh.
And the deal I made with the company is I said, when I go, I have some collector items I'd like to sell at the show.
Yeah.
And they would be an attractor to get to the magazine. They said, that's fine with us. And that's how I started picking things up and finding out about things.
Yeah.
You know, got into it. Come on in and go down the steps. And it'll be your first store on the left. Don't worry about that. I tell people we live here. I have my old shoe set and slippers because I'm outside the door. My wife says, stop dragging the grass, and I just ran the lawnmower.
It's the room of death, as Jim
Well-
Carrey would say.
Well, I don't know about that. You know, people say, whoa. And I said, you gotta remember, you know, I've been hunting for 62 years.
Uh-huh.
I said, so this is what it takes over 62 years
Yeah.
to get this stuff. Here's that collection I was telling you
Oh,
about.
there they are.
There are all the woods. There's the skinny one, the fat one. There's the walnut. There's the chestnut. There's the hemlock. There's that, and that's the cherry.
Now, out of those ones you have down there, which ones are they missing?
Missing?
Out of that set?
No chestnut,
No
and the only one maple. Chestnut, only had 4 chestnut. I have one. I gave one to my brother-in-law, Don Heckman, who was big into the Turkey Federation. He and I spent 20 years together, and I retired out because I had kids in school, boy wrestling, girl inquiry, and that kind of stuff. But the maple and the chestnut are the ones that are missing from out there.
Okay.
I got the walnut out there, sassafras is out there. I can't keep track of what I'm doing anymore. But I know that of those out there, because there were 2 walnuts.
But this is the full set.
That's the full set.
So that's only missing 2.
Yep,
from
it's
the full
missing 2
set.
from the full set. They set right there and there. And like I say, when I pulled the Sunrise out, I made sure I kept a fat one and a skinny one. Because Merle called me and said, make sure you take one of each.
Right.
He said, that set's going to make something for you someday if you want your kids, if you have them in your estate, whatever. And then he told me about he looked it up and said, that one's really rare. They only make 5 of those.
Wow.
He said, you need to make sure you hang on to a skinny one. So, and there were 3 unfinished out there, which would have made 8 out of his total category out of his book. And I said, okay. So he sent me down and advised me on the whole setup and everything for it. And Frank Piper, inside these cases, they did a special turkey call to a guy who was legendary in the turkey calling, making turkey call. Well, he wasn't a turkey call maker, but he was just a turkey hunter par excellence, conservationist.
Yeah.
So he made some of these special boxes up, and he sent me 2 after over a period of 2 years. This is all the paperwork and everything on it. Goes on and on and on and on about the guy that he did it for, but he had the special holster made for them, all this kind of stuff stuck into it, and the call itself is the Lynch style call. Special cut groove across the top for us rubber band boys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, thinking about us.
Yeah.
The Wayne Bailey call. Wayne Bailey was like a forerunner for the National Wild Turkey Federation. He's the one that really put the motivation in, put the special strap on the end so that you could keep it down, keep it quiet. And you can see I've never used a call. This is just as tight as it ever was when I bought it. But this is number 139, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they only made 250 of them. Because I've got 139 in this box, and in that box over there with my spur necklace on it, the identical thing that he sent to me with a nice letter because I wrote an article and had him included in it, and I think it's like might be in the 150s, something like that. So Jane always said what, and I said, no. I said, don't you ever sell these. I said, don't even think about selling them. And then he put the cushion in the bottom, fit your box into, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it fits in, you can only go in one way. You can't, so you don't break anything. And she said, I told her, I said, no, you never sell these. I said, when I'm dead and gone, you take the box. I'm just going to let that sit there. I said, you take the box, you call National Turkey Federation, take it down and give it to them as a donation for an auction. And I said, they'll make some nice money off that. Because I was big in the Turkey Federation.
Yeah.
NRA, that kind of stuff. But yeah, Brian, that's just, and the kids,
Right.
always buying me these.
Yeah, little statues.
I can show you upstairs all the Ned Smith prints I have hanging around. I used to publish art for Ned Smith. But just, what makes you happy?
Right.
The kids always called this the quiet room. It wasn't until after the kids left that I even put a TV in here. And over here in the corner, I used to have a hi-fi.
Oh,
I'm talking wax.
Oh.
Okay, and I would come down here and sit and play it and read the books that I was collecting in the library. I'd read them over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Because I knew that to me, it was my lifestyle.
Yeah.
It still is. We've got 260 acres leased outside of Huntington. I put in 16 acres of food plots on it and take care of those. I call the boys. The boys are on their 50s, but I call them the boys and bring them down every year into the lease and let them go out and chase their deer, call turkeys for them. Those are feathers from turkeys that I've shot. Everyone ever shot. Those are the spurs for anything I get spurs. And then here are the empty cases.
Oh my.
And on it, you can see little tabs of when I shot it, okay? Pennsylvania came in 1967. So until they went to a season, if it had been one a season in the 55 years the turkey season has been in, counting last turkey season, you could have 55 shells.
Right.
Well, I've had kids go in and count them and say, Mr. Hyde, you got 61 shells over there. How'd you do that? We only have one a year. And I said, well, they brought in 2 a year. And for about 3 or 4 years in a row, the novelty of going back out and calling for guys and different pieces of ground. And I used to go and never take a gun. They'd say, you can't come and call with us bringing a gun. We want you to shoot one up here. So for a few years, I was taking one here in our ground where we hunt. And then I was taking one with them. And I thought, I don't care how much they fuss. I'm not doing this. I might have just shot a turkey on your property that some young kid might have shot for his first one. Or some old fart like me might have shot his last one. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
I know our ground, and there's only 3 of us hunt turkey out of 8 guys. The other guys don't hunt turkey, period. I said, so me taking 1 turkey a year off of our property is nothing. That's just zeros, the number of turkeys we have in the area. So I just stopped doing that. But I've kept the beers, whether they were Jake's, long beers, exceptional long beers, whatever. I would take the spurs. I'm giving you more info than you really need.
Right, I'm going to take a real quick look at all the beards.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a light on them. That's kind of neat.
I've got some hanging from different places on the wall. I've got them hanging up there that was a Penn Woods turkey hanger.
That there.
Yeah. So I hung them up there, little things they did when I was first starting. And just craziness. Just craziness.
Got some more beards there.
Yeah, beers hanging up there, shells up there with them.
Huh.
Different crazy things, and I've have a little Indian blood in me. Mine being very little. My great grandmother was full blooded. My grandmother made her half. My mom got it down to what they call the quarter, the eighth, the 16th, and that. So I said I got about that much in me, but I think most of it's up here.
Yeah.
Give me the drive. So I started making necklaces, and then I make necklaces for guys. They came in and saw them, and I said, oh, they shoot, what am I getting into here?
Right.
Little while's a way to time.
Yeah.
You have fun with it. Making wing bone calls. I've used those to call turkeys in with. Different sound altogether. Don't have the oxygen anymore.
Yeah.
You got to suck on them like a turpin.
Oh, okay.
It's the same principle, but you do it through the bone. But it's a different sound altogether. The hollowness of the bone is a tone that turkeys just don't hear in the woods, period, except from real turkeys.
Right.
You hear it. I don't care where I've been and I've called, if there's anybody around. Sooner or later, it seems to me, and said, man, I thought there was turkeys over here. And I said, well, there were, but you chased them out. I said, but this was the sound you heard. You can make a 2-bone, which I prefer because you can put it in your shirt pocket. But you can also make a 3-bone, but it's about that long. I think I have one over in my little room over there. It's about that long because you use, this bone's the big one. This bone's the shank bone, and this is the one that goes out at the tip of the wing. So you cut those off, then bevel them off, put little epox in it, and set them to the length you like, and do the best you can for tone and cut that it fits your amount to call for. And but you got to suck and suck hard. And I said, hey, I can't do that anymore.
Right.
I can't get 4 or 5 notes. I don't hold enough breath anymore. And that was a unique hunt, the picture there. I don't keep many pictures out. But my son and I were hunting together. And he's calling a turkey gobbling. And I'm off to the side of him. Your bird, you shoot. And I can see the turkey down on the side of the hill. But it's standing at full alert. It hit a gobble, 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 and then just shut up. Boom. And there it stood like it wasn't moving a muscle. And I thought, I got you, but Terry can't see you. And I see Terry with his gun going like it's moving. I thought, what's he doing? There was a coyote on his side of a log, sneaking along this log, and his turkey had picked it up. So when the coyote got close enough to him, he shot and killed the coyote. And when he did, the turkey took 2 steps, and I killed the turkey. So we took a picture. I said, that's the best turkey hunt we ever had together. That was just really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he killed the coyote, and I got the turkey. This should have been the other way around, but
Right. That's the way it worked out.
And we work here in PA, we work on the theory that if you're hunting, no matter what you're hunting, and a coyote comes through, it's coyote season.
Yeah, right.
They're a scourge. I mean, they're just, oh my goodness, we can't get rid of them. We got one guy's an excellent trapper. He traps enough furs, he and his 2 cousins, Scotty Krofchek, his dad, and his cousin, Rick, and I can't think of Rick's last name. They trap enough of fox, coyote, raccoons every year. They put them in the back of a pickup truck, and they drive all the way to Canada to some of the fur sales in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they have visas and everything to get back and forth anymore. I said, Scotty, you make enough money? He said, I make enough money every year to buy all my hunting licenses, all my archery stuff, everything I want to hunt, and I can make 1 hunt a year someplace.
Wow.
Yeah, he said, they go up there and they'll make $4,000 or $5,000.
Jeez.
You know, because I got him into doing back, you know, I said, you don't have to pay. I said, I've gone to where there are guys that have lodges that I do a DIY, do-it-yourself hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you get them reduced cost, but I said, most of our hunts were all on BLM ground. And because I made so many trips west because of the magazine, got lucky,
Right.
you know, with the hay. I said, I got names, addresses, persons that own it to call to find out. I've taken guys out there where I've hunted out there and said, all you got to do is be willing to sleep in a tent with me for 7 days.
Right.
I said, all it's going to cost you is your gas, your license, that, and your food. I said, you can make a top quality hunt if you got the walk and a place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Even today, even with the prices today, for under $1,000. Licenses are what are killing us now.
Yeah.
When I first started going west back in the 70s, $50 bought me 2 mule deer tags in Colorado. Now 1 mule deer tag is $250.
Wow.
An elk tag is $600. And I said, I said, once you get the licenses taken care of out of your pocketbook and get drawn, everything's drawn now, which
Right.
I'm happy about that. Never saw a ton of guys, but you can overhunt everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have numbers like whitetail hunters. But I said, once you get your license out of the way, I said, the rest is, we can map it out. We can figure out how far we're going back and forth. We can average that gas mileage we're doing. I said, we'll know exactly what we're going to pay for gas.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I can use my NRA certificates and I can get us hotel rooms in the best of hotels 60, 70% off because it's off season for vacationers.
Right.
I'm going November, December. They're home sitting in their house.
Yep.
That kind of stuff. I'm taking too much of your time.
Oh, you're fine.
I appreciate stopping by.
I like hearing it.
But that's, here is, where's it at? Right here.
Yep.
Here's the hardbound.
Of that book out there.
The same book out there.
Okay.
And he wrote me a big long letter in that one too and sent it to me. He said, here, I made a hardbound. Use this. Because I showed him, I said, I've opened it up so many times to show people this. I said, a broken backstrap.
I should take
So when
a
he did
picture
that
of
new
the front
one.
of the book.
Here, we can do it this way for you.
A front picture.
I do this all the time down here, taking pictures and sending it. There's the perfect backdrop.
Perfect backdrop.
That was my mother's, before she passed away, last Afghan. And she never called it Afghan, it was an Afghan.
Afghan.
Afghan. So she made me the Afghan and the pillows underneath it, and I have it down here.
Huh.
But yeah, but that's his new one. The rest of the best. That's why I called it, because he has all those guys in it.
Mm-hmm.
But then during the course of another 10 or 15 years, he picked up like another 30 people.
Yeah.
I pull up things, names. There's a guy by the name of Williams from Pennsylvania, made one call for like 3 or 4 years. I've got one of his calls. There's nothing special, but I have one by sheer luck. And when I saw it, I thought, I think it was from Roaring Springs.
Mm.
And I thought, how does he find this stuff out?
Right.
I mean, unless you're a turkey call collector and find out about something like that, and most guys won't give up the secrets.
Yeah.
And it's like the old days, nobody ever tell you where they hunted turkey. You just had to wheedle all the time to find out about it. But he's got them in that book. So that one, I've gone through it, verified other pages, I'm back in there again, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, I'll put that on a shelf, and this will be the show 2 book.
Yeah.
It's already got a crack in it,
Yep.
paperback on it. Yeah, crazy stuff.
Crazy.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll take those turkey calls, I believe.
Okay. I'm not crying. I'm real happy. I'm happy that somebody had a real interest in them. Because I told Jane, I said, if someone has a real interest, they may want the whole collection.
Right.
And then they can make money off of. I don't care.
Yes.
That's up to them to what they do, pass them to friends or whatever. But I said, if single guys come in, hey, they're there.
They're there.
You know, I don't need to do here. Let me just go my little ruby sided. You want them all?
Yeah, you said $1,000.
$1,000 for the whole thing, except the book. I'm gonna hang on to the book.
You're gonna...
But all these
Yep.
and those, we can close these up, and you get the demo.
I get
The maple. Maple goes with it. The one I've used.
Yeah.
Because I got the maple one down
you
there.
have the maple.
And I don't use these anymore in the woods. I can't, my hands, I got arthritis so bad I can't do it. That was a gift my mother left me. And she told me that when she was passing away.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I don't have anything left for you boys, but I'm going to give you arthritis, and I'm going to give you this. And we were just sitting there, that was her sense of humor about it and everything. Like, I don't have a lot of money. We didn't have that stuff. You know, my dad worked in a railroad. My mother was a house mother for the sorority at Penn State, which was, and she said, I'm a glorified maid. But she never had girls, all boys. And she said, now I've got 20 girls every year.
Yeah.
This is her life. And she did it. She loved it for 30 years. They gave her a special, the girls that she was on, the floors that she worked in over the years, she just kind of built up a little reputation of her. She's like me. Too much talk, but a lot of give. And the dorm itself got her a special plaque, a rocking chair, all this kind of stuff, and had a special dinner for her when she finally retired. And we had to talk her into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she said, I don't want to retire. I said, Mom, you're 62. Dad's health not good. You've got arthritis. You got a chance, the two of you now, to do some of these and visit your relatives, your uncles, your aunts, your sisters, and brothers that live in Erie or Ohio or Virginia or West Virginia. So you can go see them. They were working all the time. My dad was an engineer on the railroad back in the old PRR days.
Yeah.
So we finally talked, because Dad was ready to retire anyhow. He was older than her. And so we talked her into it. My brother really was the one. He was an accountant attorney. So he took all of her funds, worked it out, and said, Mom, if you work another 4 more years to retire on time at Penn State at 66, not 65, for your 30 years of service instead of 25, your Social Security check is going to be $218 more a month.
Yeah.
For 4 more years of your life.
Right, exactly. It's ridiculous.
That was Social Security. Her retirement at Penn State, she could take any way she wanted.
Right.
Back in the day, you could take a lump. You could take so much a year, put on the monthly chart. So we talked her into retiring.
Yes.
On that type of thing.
Yeah, it's not worth the extra years for the...
Absolutely not. Now, that MF is maple finish. The wood underneath these, on these, I've got to go down through and show you which one. The wood on those is sycamore, not mahogany. These were all these ones that I have were, it should be in there. These were all, I don't know where I say one. Those are the limited number ones. Yeah, because there's only 100 Sunrise, Turkey Calls, mahogany. These were the late mahogany. Mix Pick FF on that. That's what these ones are. Mm-hmm. These ones right there were the mahogany ones on that. But he liked the maple Keller. Mm-hmm. These are walnut. It's even on the inside. And I'm pretty sure these are sassafras. He made almost all the Sunrise out of that sassafras. Yeah, that's another walnut. Just making sure we got everything in the right. He made, and I didn't get any. He must have given those away. He writes about it. Mm-hmm. He made some special calls, and he put them in a box decorated like a Christmas tree with the berries and a ribbon on it. I didn't get one of those calls or boxes when we bought it. He must have those must have been giveaways to good friends. But he even writes about it in there. I like told him, I said, how did you get all this extra information? I got the book. He said, I just started calling, because he had a little ledger book, people's names. Mm-hmm. He's researched it through, what is it, Yelp or whatever, to find out how to get a hold of them, call them, and talk to these people.
Yeah.
The old guys in the mill, crazy. Just absolutely crazy on it. Where's my lid? Did you steal the lid from me?
No.
Where the heck's the lid to that?
I know you have it. It's not
right there.
Okay.
I was going to say, I knew I had that. I thought, how the heck can I lose it? Who would steal a lid?
Who would take a lid?
Yeah, who would steal a lid?
Someone that needed a lid.
Yeah, on that, there, on these. You saw how they all worked.
Yeah.
On that. Okay. Now, these unfinished ones, unfortunately, they were just laying loose.
Right.
So they're unfinished. Other than the one, I have the wide slate. Well, this is the good one. And the other one the boy bought the other day. Yeah. So these ones, I don't know what to do for you on that. Protect them really good. But I know I've got some small boxes that we can put them in boxes, and I might even have some bubble wrap.
Okay.
We can stick that in the box for you on that. Before I go too far, cash?
Oh yeah.
Okay, no, I wasn't asking you to give it to you. Just
Take
cash.
credit card.
Say, if you want to do a credit card or something, you got to go to the bank.
You take credit card.
I did one time took a credit card.
Right.
I ate it.
Oh yeah.
I ate it. I thought, no more. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay. This is what I gave her to use.
Oh,
I
okay.
had Penn's Woodsman. Everybody made these little push buttons, just a dime a piece, but because this would be an American chestnut, a little different. And I showed her how to do it. She entered the Pennsylvania Turkey Calling Cost Junior Division. She was one of 2 girls, and that were in it with all the boys that were 12 and under. No, I'll take it back. 12 to 16. That was the junior division. Mini division was under 12, and they were like, it was down in Harrisburg. Take it back. It was over here at State College at the big center they have going out of town past where you got to head to the cemetery. What's that big unit called up on the left-hand side?
Oh.
They had a big convention center.
Yeah.
That's where the calling contest was. So because it was close, I said, come on, I'll take care of 2. You don't have to stay all day. And she got into that with this little push button thing. There were 2 girls, and she took 3rd place using this push button.
Oh wow.
And then I got, Grandpap got a collar. That was that. That's her temperament. I did it. I've done it. I got to find something new to do. I thought, boy, I got it. Everybody come up and said, man, you got to build in turkey. I said, I can't wait. And that was the year. That year's when I took her turkey hunting with me, and she just got to the point where I had more fun watching that chipmunk on my toe of my shoe. You know? I thought, okay, if that makes you happy, I'm happy for you. Brian, I think that's the best I can do you on that.
That's good.
But they're together. I do appreciate you stopping.
Yes,
I
thank
like
you.
to talk to somebody who appreciates things.
Sure, yeah.
Here's your certificates. Don't lose
I'm gonna
those.
stick this in.
Yeah, it can't hurt that.
Nah, that's
Can't hurt that little guy.
No.
I gotta say. Probably keep your certificate.
Right.
Right.
Certificates
And,
out.
I appreciate you coming down. I enjoy it
Sure.
on that. My wife will enjoy the vacation. I won't see it as money. And that's okay. That's okay. They do a girl thing every year. Her, my daughter, my 2 granddaughters, and my 2 granddaughters' wife. The 5 of them get together every year, and they take a girls' vacation. I don't ask where, and I don't ask when, because she ever told me when I went west is, call me when you get there. The name of the town's not going to mean a thing to me. Call me each night, let me know you're still alive, and call me when you're coming home.
Yeah.
If I don't hear from you when you're coming home in 3 days, I'm selling the house. Because you're dead someplace.
Right.
I tell people, it's a cold family.
That's yeah. You.
Okay.
Hey, thank you very much. Now, do you mind being on YouTube?
No.
You don't mind?
No, I've been on YouTube. I back in the day, when I was working with the Turkey Federation big time on art, I got them into the Turkey Federation of PA just about went bankrupt.
Yeah.
Because of the expenses they're trying to make it work. And I said, all we need to do is do what Duck Sutherland did. When they got in trouble, they started an art print program. Now they're the richest organization in the world. I said, I could start your print program, and if you're familiar with wildlife art, Ned Smith was the man back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s before he died. And I knew Ned well and did published work for him. I got Ned Smith over my walls up here. And they said, can you do it? And I said, I can pull it off. I said, just let me do it. I said, I'll put it together for you. I'll run the whole price and costing of it for it. I said, all we need is someone close to me that can be the treasurer. I don't want the money in my hands.
Right.
I said, if they send me a check, he gets the checks. Because back then we wouldn't take credit cards. We weren't even set up the machines. Everything we got were checks. We went from being $12,000 in the hole. We did 1,200 Ned Smith turkey prints at $125 a piece, and we sold them out in 90 days.
Wow.
So we went from being bust to having money that we could do things, and we dumped all of our money back into habitat, planting trees and flower bushes and apple trees and all that kind of stuff across the state of Pennsylvania on public ground. The guys could get to hunt to it. So when we did that, and I started the position, how I got the position up at here in Altoona doing the Outdoor Magazine was the editor did an interview with me then, and he asked me, can I put this on film? I said, sure, what do I got to sign? I said, I'm not going to say anything bad. It's all going to be good. And he did that, and they put it on. And somewhere along the line, someone picked that up, or got it, and put it on YouTube about what we were doing.
Right.
And all of a sudden, just donations started coming in. People buying memberships to get into the Turkey Federation because of what we were doing from that little YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
no problem.
Okay.
No problem at all.
All right.
Tell him he lives in a trailer. It sits out on the side of a hill.
Right.
That he has to get past the 5 dogs.
5
and you can go
dogs.
see him.
5 dogs you can see them.
Yeah, on that.
Excellent.
Well,
Hey, well,
I
thank you,
appreciate
sir.
you greatly.
I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
all the stories.
Yeah.
And
Did you get what you needed? Pictures, what you took back there?
Yep, I
Different
did.
things?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Yeah, on that.
All right.
And if I could get you a book, Mickels calls it.